All right, let's talk about learning, but probably not in the way you're used to. Forget learning as a hobby. Let's start thinking of it as a system design problem. Yeah, you heard me right. For all you architects and engineers out there, we're basically going to talk about how to refactor your own brain for maximum efficiency. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let me ask you something. And be honest. Take a look at your browser bookmarks, your saved YouTube playlists, your Udemy account that's probably overflowing with courses you bought on sale. Are you a collector of tutorials? I mean, do you spend hours, maybe even days, finding all these perfect resources, building this giant, beautiful library of things you're totally gonna get to someday? Look, if that's you, you are definitely not alone. This is classic tutorial hell, and it is a real trap.
And this whole collecting thing, it leads to what we can call the collector's fallacy. And what's so fascinating about these points here is that they all come from this same place. It's this deep-seated fear that a lot of us really driven people have, the fear of doing useless work, right? So you get stuck in this analysis paralysis, trying to find the perfect path, or you go way too deep into theory, but you never actually build anything. And then what happens? Priorities change, they always do, and all that time feels completely wasted. Your motivation just tanks, and you give up. It's such a frustrating cycle, isn't it?
But what if we've been coming at this from completely the wrong direction? So the author of the material we're looking at had this aha moment, all thanks to this super smart classmate back in junior high. And the insight was so simple, but wow, was it profound? It was this: stop starting with the resource. Start with your goal. Instead of asking, what does this textbook have? You should be asking, what do I need to learn from this textbook? That right there is the huge mindset shift we're talking about.
So this all leads us to the solution. We're calling it the Architect's Learning Protocol. The idea is simple. Instead of just wandering aimlessly through a giant library of information, we're going to design our learning process with intention, exactly like how we design a complex software system. We're going to use what's called backward design. You start with the end goal and work your way back from there. Okay, so here it is, the entire 7-step protocol, all on one slide. First, you list and prioritize your long-term goals. Then, and this is key, you set a workload bar to really focus your attention. After that, you identify your dependencies, the skills you actually need. You define concrete milestones to prove you're getting somewhere. Then you figure out your very next action. Set a stop-loss point so you know when to stop, and always try to prioritize actions that, kill two birds with one stone. Now we're going to zoom in on a couple of my favorite steps here, the ones that are real game changers, setting that workload bar and managing your dependencies. All right, let's talk about step 2, the workload bar. Seriously, think of this as a rate limiter for your brain. It's awesome. You just list out all your potential goals, everything you could be working on, and then you draw a hard line. Everything above that bar, that gets your complete 100% focus. Everything below it, it gets 0 attention. And I mean 0. It's not, oh, I'll get to it later. It's, this does not exist right now. This is how you stop that cognitive overload dead in its tracks and just get ruthless about focusing on what truly matters. Okay, so once you've got that focus locked in with the workload bar, here's where it gets really cool for us architect types. You start treating learning like dependency management. That's it. For whatever goal is above your bar, you ask, what is standing between me and getting this done? Is it some piece of knowledge? Is it a specific skill or a habit I need to build? Maybe it's my network. Whatever it is, those are your project's dependencies. And just like in any real software project, you have to manage them explicitly. And this is the core metaphor, right? I mean, think about it. You would never, ever npm install the entire internet just to build a simple web app. That would be insane. So why on earth would you try to learn an entire framework from top to bottom when you only need one little piece of it to finish your project? It makes no sense. Your project, your goal, that's what dictates the dependencies, which is the learning. You pull in only what you absolutely need to hit your next milestone. It's surgical. It's just-in-time learning. And this all boils down to one really powerful concept: minimum viable knowledge, MVK. So your goal is no longer some vague thing like learn React or master cloud computing. No way. The goal is to acquire the absolute smallest amount of knowledge you need to successfully build your project and hit your milestone. It's a total shift in focus, away from the process of learning and onto the outcome of shipping. So I want to leave you with this question. Just for a second, forget about all those tutorials you've collected. Think about a real goal you have right now. What's the one project you could build to move you toward that goal? And more importantly, what is the absolute minimum viable knowledge you would need to actually ship it? Hey, if you liked thinking about problems this way, from this kind of angle,
You can find a lot more tech industry insights over at aaronwubbbuilds.com. Go ahead and join the Inner Loop email list. Let's keep leveling up from an architect's perspective.